guys, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be creating my own palette. I'm actually really excited about this. I've been wanting to do this for a while now and I just want to create a colour story. I've picked up a few of these Nabla palettes, magnetic palettes, and I want to create my own colour story. I've got lots of single shadows, I've got lots of Natasha Denona palettes that I can pop out, I've got lots of Colourpop palettes that I can pop out. I've just got so much makeup and I really want to, you know, start looking and creating things and creating colour stories and just being like, hey, I don't need everything, time to declutter. I know through my declutter series, if you've been watching it, I'll go link up in the eye. I've been putting lots of things on the chopping block. It's time to say to myself, can I recreate this colour story with better quality eyeshadows in my collection and I can just recreate them? If the answer is yes, then I can get rid of that palette, you know? So I really wanted to try and do that with these three shadows, these three eyeshadow palettes today. These are my KIKO Eyes palettes. I think that's just what they're called. KIKO Milano Eyes palettes 1, 2 and 3. These were in my Project Pan 2021. And I want to recreate those three eyeshadow palettes so I can just bin them basically. And if you're new here, hello, welcome, my name is Meg and I like to talk about all the superficial things around here, all the things that don't really matter but bring us a little bit of joy in the everyday grind that can be life, and boy can it be a grind. I talk about all things makeup, skincare, hair care, homeware and fashion. We talk about them all in some capacity. So if that sounds like a little bit of you, then stick around, hit subscribe, ring the bell, join the family. I upload 3 to 4 videos a week, so yeah, join the circle of trust because we upload a lot around here. So, like I said, I do want to, I mean, this one's broken for goodness sake. These little palettes from KIKO are really, really old. The pigmentation is just literally next to gone on these, but these are really, really pretty and I kept them in my Project Pan for 2021 because I loved the colour stories of these. So you've got greens, purples and coppery orange tones, which honestly for me is just a total vibe. The problem is that the saturation of these have gone. I don't want to keep these. I'm keeping them on sentiment and I can't keep everything on sentiment. It's just not right. So I'm going to use one of my Nabla palettes. I've actually got a brand new one. I'm not going to be using this one. I've got a brand new one that I'm going to be using because why not? And I'm going to be recreating this colour story. I want to enhance it. I want it to be saturated. I want it to be essentially the same thing. I want to be able to swatch these out and be like, oh, okay, I've taken these three palettes and made a new palette. In terms of what I'm going to be using for these palettes, I've got some Cliondah singles, which I have a whole video of me swatching all of my Cliondah singles. Here they all are. If you want to go watch my Cliondah singles swatching session, I'll link that up in the eye for you as well. These are relatively new to me in terms of I bought them back end of 2021 and showed them to you all in 2022. So these are relatively new to me. So I'm going to be using some of these. And I've also got some Shroud singles as well. I've got some Shroud makeup. I've got lots of Colourpop and random shadows in here. More Colourpop. I then also have a massive stack of Natasha Denona. Honestly, I want to use these Natasha Denona's singles more if I can help it. I want to go through these first because all of these singles I think are just going to be to help me out if there are any colours missing, because obviously Natasha Denona is very sultry in a lot of her palettes and doesn't have like bright pops or things that I might need. Do you know what? I've just realised something. I have the Glam palette and I don't know where it is. Damn, where's my Glam palette gone? Okay, well, to be honest with you, I don't think we'll need the Glam palette. I mean, it might be good for this one because it's got a cool tone silver, but I'm sure we can make it work. The rest of them is like green, warm tones and the purple. Where has that Glam palette gone? Well, I do have that one, but I'll show you these all up close in a moment. I'll open them all up and just show you what's inside. And yeah, I want to fill one of these up and create a palette. So let's go for it. Okay, so these are the three palettes that I want to kind of create again or dupe out. I don't know how you want to say it, but these are the KIKO Eyes palettes. I just love the colour stories of these. You know, the quality isn't the best thing I've ever had in my life, but I really, really like the colour stories. There's just something about them that really captivates me. So I've got this Nabla 12 pan. I can take this off now actually, can't I? Oh yeah. I've got the Nabla 12 pan magnetic palette here, so I'm hoping that I can almost create a colour story. How many shades is this? So this is 6, 12, 18. I'm hoping I can condense 18 down to 12. Maybe if we have enough room, maybe we can do 15. I'm not sure, depending on the size of the pans. But I think, I mean, here there's two blacks. Here's like a charcoaly black colour. We've got a couple of the same sort of shades between all the palettes, so I'm sure that we can condense this a little bit. So moving these maybe just in frame, maybe just here, like that. I'll swatch this all out in a moment. But I want to use all of my Natasha Denona palettes, like I just said a second ago. I want to use all my Natasha Denona palettes. I have the Zendo palette here. I have the Bronze palette. I have the Sunrise palette, the Love palette, the Retro palette, the Metropolis palette, the Circo Loco palette, the Lila palette, the Trio Chrome palette, and lastly the Gold palette. So I have quite a plethora of palettes here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out all of the shades that I think are similar to any of these, and we'll have a collection of shadows. If I need to reach into my singles or my other collection of shadows, then we'll do that. But I just want to see if I can use Natasha Denona only to dupe out the vibes. So yeah, let's do that. I think just while we're here, I'm just going to pick out some of my singles here. So I've got my Cliondah singles, and these run pretty deep, and I've got a couple of Shroud singles here. To be honest, there might not be a lot here, but I'm just wondering if I can pick any of these to go with any of this. There might be some Cliondah ones, like special shades I can add into the mix. Okay, I think this is a good enough selection. I've got way too many here, but I think this is like, oh, I think this is a really good place to start because I've got a bit of everything. I think I've captured the essence of each palette in a colour story. We just now need to pin it down to fit into this, which of course it is not a lot of space when you look at all of this, but I've got lots of iterations of colours, so I might just start grouping things in rows of what I think might suit what. Okay, so I've kind of lined up, I don't know if you'll actually be able to see this, but I've kind of lined up each of the palettes with, or like each of the rows with like the corresponding shades. Does that make any sense? There probably will be some crossover, like here, I was gonna kind of put this one here, but then I was actually looking at the tones, and I can already see like really good matches between them, so I think I'm gonna try and basically go shade by shade and swatch that shade on my hand and then see which is the best match. But I also want to not only just get the best match for these things, I want to enhance it. I want to have 12 or 15 shades, whatever we can fit in here, of a real enhancement of these 3 palettes. So is it 18, did we say? Yeah, 18 shades. I don't want to just have the closest to this. I don't want to just have the closest to this. I want to have a real enhancement. Like, what is it going to make that, like, this palette really like va-va-voom? And of course we do have shades that are kind of similar in tone, but we'll see. When we get to it, we just get the best match for each of these shades, and then we will create a palette out of that, if that makes sense. So the first shade is this one, and this is just like a white shadow with lots of yellow glitters in. As you can see, not a lot. It does look really nice on the eyes, like when you really wet this, like get the brush really wet, it does work as a really effective inner corner. On my hand, can you just about see that sheen? I don't know if you actually can. And I've picked out 3 shades that I thought would be really good. I'm actually kind of tempted to pick this one back out of the mix, you know? Like, yeah, let's do that actually, because I was just trying to be cool and unique, but actually I think it belongs here. So I've got Natasha Denona Sparks, which I think is going to be the closest to this shade. I really do. So that's Natasha Denona Sparks. Honestly, like, I just think it takes the cake, doesn't it? But I think that's going to be the closest. This one is my Cliondah Cosmetics Gilding. This one is just like steroids. Like, this is just mad. Oh my god, like, look at that. Is that not the most maddest thing you've ever seen in your life? It is just craziness. Like, you compare that to the Natasha Denona, and it's just like not even a competition. Whoa. I'll be honest though, like, it's probably not what I'm actually looking for. I'm not sure. I've then got 2 more Cliondah Cosmetics. I've got Chromatic, this one here, which I don't think is going to be the right colour, but we'll see. Oh, I don't know. It's a bit too green. And then we have Luxe, which I think might actually be quite a good... Oh no, that's too blue. Okay, I think the Natasha Denona Sparks is probably the best out of this situation. I know that the rest of them are like really shimmery, like you can see them. You can see how shimmery they are, but I think the Natasha Denona one actually is subtle enough to be the best one for this. And I think I'm gonna pick this one to be kind of like the backup if I want something even more. Okay, the next shade we have in here is this shade here, which is beautiful. I want to say like a pearl colour. It's like a satin shade. Hopefully you can see that and my camera's not too washed out, but it's a really nice inner corner, very subtle satin shade. Now, I think all the ones I have here are slightly too deep. I'm seeing this one, which I think is going to be the perfect fit. But let's just go for this one first. This one is Natasha Denona Queen. See, that's quite gold. I have here a Colourpop single, Save It for Later. No, that's far too gold. I then have Natasha Denona Laurel, which is more coppery but less gold. And then finally I have Natasha Denona Transparent. Honestly, all of these are not the best fit, but I think this one is probably going to be the best one. This one is Natasha Denona Queen. I think this is just going to be the best fit for this scenario. So I want to keep this one, and I think I'm just going to not bin off, but you know, just like not include the rest. I might keep this Colourpop Save It for Later one for this one here. I actually might do that. Let's compare these 3 next. So the next shade is this lovely golden tone here. And I have these 3 here. So I'm going to just swatch that Colourpop Save It for Later again, just because I think this actually might be a better fit. Oh, that's pretty on the nail, isn't it? That's pretty close. Okay. I then have Natasha Denona Silk. I have a feeling, oh god, it's much better quality, but... Well, actually, I don't know. It's a tiny bit too coppery, but if I had to pick, I'd pick the Natasha Denona one. And then I have Natasha Denona Agate. Oh no, that's far too yellowy. Okay, because I think Agate is far too yellowy, I'm going to just put that off to the side. I think I want to keep these 2 in the mix for now as possible contenders. Like, when we swatch it all together as one palette, I want to see... You know, I want to see what, like, the strength of each shadow and actually how much it holds up, because I do genuinely think this is a better match to this shade. This is well, not too deep, but this is much deeper, you can just tell. But it kind of offers something, like, it offers that depth. So we're just going to keep it there for now. Next we have this shade here. So I have Natasha Denona Sandstone here, which I think might be quite close. Bit yellowy. I think I need something a little bit more neutral. This one is Natasha Denona Aria. Yeah, that's pretty close. We then have Natasha Denona Teak. which is a tiny bit too deep. I wish I could have these two have a baby. I then have Colourpop Beach Blankets, which I think is going to be a bit too... it's going to be a bit too sort of peachy. And then finally we have Natasha Denona Balance, which I think is going to be too orangey. Yeah, far too orangey. Okay, I think I'm going to go for this one or this one. I think I'm going to go for Aria, which is this one here. Yeah, I'm going to go for Aria. Next up we have this beautiful terracotta red shade. I included this Shroud one in the mix, but honestly I think it's going to be out of these Natasha Denona ones. But let's just swatch this one anyway. This is Shroud Scrumptious. Scrumptious. This is actually a metallic, and this shade isn't a metallic. But I just thought if we wanted to add some more metallics in the mix we could, but actually looking at it we've already got quite a few. So I'm already just going to say no to this one. Then we've got Natasha Denona Jasper, which looks like the closest one, I think. Oh no, this is actually more orangey. Okay, we then have Natasha Denona Vigor. And then we have Natasha Denona Right, which is far too orange. Honestly, I think we're going to have to go for Vigor, this one here. I think that's the closest match. I think these two are just a bit too orangey, so we're going to go for Vigor. And then finally for this palette we have this beautiful deep chocolate cool toned brown. So just looking at these already, I'm actually going to just pick out a few that I think are just not going to cut the cake. Like this one here is just far too pale. This one here I think is just going to be too warm. I think it's going to be out of these three perhaps. So I'm going to get rid of this one. Yeah, I think it's going to be out of these three. So this is the Natasha Denona Log, which, I mean, yeah, it's pretty green toned, but it's close. And then I have Natasha Denona Mindful, and then I have Natasha Denona Antique. I think it's going to have to be Log. But I kind of want to keep Antique into the mix just because wait, where is it? Yeah, I'm going to keep Antique and Log into the mix because if it's pulling very warm, I don't want, well, then again, this is closer. No, let's just keep Log in there. Let's just put that there. We then go on to this shade here on the number 3 palette. Okay, we're going out of order here. The number 3 palette, this is like this just peachy, not even peachy, like yellow toned bone matte. And then just looking at these shades, I think I can already see which one is going to be the best one. This one is going to be far too orange. This one is going to be far too pink. And I think this one's going to be far too dark. I think it's going to be out of these two here. Possibly this one is going to be the best match. I'm going to get rid of this one because it looks too pink. And I'm going to get this one because it looks too orangey. But shall I just swatch anyway? Let's just swatch them anyway. This is Natasha Denona Morning. Okay, well, this one is Natasha Denona Rope. Okay, well, if I had to pick out of these two, I'd say Rope is too deep. I then have Natasha Denona Vertex, which honestly, it's like a grey shade, but between these two, like it could easily cover it. And then I have a Colourpop Locked and Loaded here, which I think is probably going to be the best shade to go to. Yeah, like this shade just matches well. This one is the same sort of opacity. It's difficult because I feel like this one's too orange. So, but then it would go really well with this, wouldn't it? No, let's take this one out, and I think let's keep Vertex and Locked and Loaded in the picture for now. We then have this shade here, which I honestly really struggled to get anything that was moderately close to this. So honestly, I'm not precious if we have to bin this shade off. I just think these two that I've got here are going to be too deep. So I've got Natasha Denona Yama, that's from the Zendo palette, I think. I think this one's just going to be too deep. But then again, it offers something. And then I have Cliondah Cosmetics Foiling, which this is going to be too deep for sure. Yeah. See, Yama I think is just not the one. Foiling offers something. Foiling does offer something. I think I'm actually going to, do you know what? I think it elevates it. I'm just going to keep Foiling in there for now because I think it offers me something that this one doesn't give me. Okay, we then have this shade. This is just so beautiful. Honestly, these KIKO shades, like the shades in the palettes are stunning, which is why I never really wanted to get rid of them because, you know, colour story wise, they're just beautiful. But if I can dupe this out as an even better quality and just so enhanced, then I'm going to absolutely do that. So this is the shade there. Like I said, the colour's lovely, but it just doesn't offer me pigmentation or anything special. I think this one's probably going to be the closest. This is Natasha Denona Sheild. Oh yeah, that has to be the closest. Look at that. We then have Natasha Denona Lethal. Oh no, that's not the journey. We have Shroud Artifact, which yeah is again just too limey. We have Makeup Geek. Oh, Makeup Geek. Oh. Makeup Geek are closed down now. I think they've, from when I'm filming this, they're still putting everything on sale, but a lot of things have sold out. I personally haven't picked up anything just because, well, there's no point. I've got so many shadows. This is Jester. It's not murky enough. And then finally we have Natasha Denona Scarab, which is actually a duochrome. No. Okay, it's going to be this one. It's going to be Sheild. I think that's the best. But then again, this does offer something, doesn't it? But it's not quite that. Let's just keep this in for now, I think, perhaps. Just in case we want to enhance it. I actually might keep Jester in as well, just for the time being, for this shade here. Just because I think maybe when it comes to it, we'll see what colour story we get. Because if I get rid of this one, for example, then I might get rid of that one. So we'll just see. Okay, then we go into this matte shade here, which is actually broken. Another reason why I need to get rid of these KIKO shade palettes, because they're just so old, they're literally just breaking, crumbling. But this is like a really murky grey-green almost. So this one is Natasha Denona Zeal. This is from the Zendo palette, I believe. Okay, this is Natasha Denona Scrap even. Again, really close between them. I then have Natasha Denona Troop, which is just too green for this one. And then I have Colourpop Team Captain, which I think is going to be, yeah, it's just too much of an army green. So I think it's between these two. I think I want to keep in Zeal, but then I might just keep in Scrap for now, just keeping these two. We then have this shade here, which honestly I just could not find a dupe for in my collection. Like, it is really unique. It's just got this lovely deep forest brown base with these lovely gold glitters running through it. I genuinely don't have anything in my collection like this. I'm not precious about it though, because I've never really searched for something like this, but I've got these two here, which honestly I just don't think are gonna come close, but there we go. This one is Cliondah Cosmetics Embroidery, which is going to be far too green. Yeah, that's green blue. And then this one here, which is Venom by Makeup Geek, which I think, oh, see, even that is just too green. But out of both of them, that's going to have to be the closest, because it's definitely not this one. So the last shade in this side is this deep blackened green here. It's so deep, it's practically black, but it is actually a really deep blackened green. Finally, onto the purple palette. Sorry this is taking so long, it feels like it's taking an eternity. We have this shade here, which is this really beautiful kind of taupey but kind of leaning slightly purple shade. And then we have these four here. I think honestly this is going to be the best match. This is Natasha Denona Noble. I just think this is going to be the best one. Like, yeah, it's slightly deeper, but it's just like the right tone. We then have Natasha Denona Dragon Bite, which I think is going to be just a bit too purple. Yeah, not ideal. We then have Natasha Denona Jude, which to be fair might be like a good enhancement sort of shade. Like, actually that might be really good for this one. I'm going to lump that in there. And then we have Natasha Denona Helio, which I think is going to be a bit too pink. Yeah, okay, we're going to stick with this one, which is Natasha Denona Noble. That was an easy one. We then have this shade here, which is like this lavender, oh god, grey toned silver satin shade. Excuse the glitter on my hand. I've just wiped my hand with a flannel and it had tons of glitter on it, so I'm really sorry. But this is like a beautiful satiny lavender grey. So let's see what these look like. This one is Makeup Geek Moon Dust, which actually is just a bit too grey for this. Okay, we then have Natasha Denona Aerialist, which I think is going to be a bit too lavender, but oh my god, what an enhancement. And then this one is Natasha Denona Jude, which we just swatched a second ago, which I actually honestly think this is going to be the best one. Yeah, like I actually think it's going to be this one. Yeah, okay, here we go. Perfect. Upon reflection though, I do actually just want to keep Aerialist in there, because looking at it, obviously I know this isn't very bright, but I've actually only got one bright shade and one matte bright shade, so I just want to have the option. When we go to swatch everything, I just want to have the option. We then have this shade here, which is this beautiful, beautiful plum shade. These shadows are just not what they used to be at all. Right, okay, so here we go. I'm just going to say that I have a lot of metallics throughout this palette. So I don't know that I want this Cliondah shade. This is Grisaille. No, it's just not the vibe I'm after. Okay, no, that was an easy no. This one is Natasha Denona Manganese. I think this is like too bright a purple. Okay. This one is Natasha Denona Trust, which honestly, okay, that's a terrible swatch, but honestly that looks quite good. I think this one looks a bit too deep. This is Natasha Denona Groove. Plummy Burgundy. Look how rubbishy these swatches are. And then I have Natasha Denona Viola, which is not the vibe. Okay, so between these three, I think these two are better. Let's put Manganese away, and I think it's between these two here. Okay, next shade. We have this lovely lavender, kind of periwinkle shade, I suppose you could say. I have these three shades. Honestly, I didn't really have a periwinkly dusty lavender like this, like Blurple. So I've got these three shades here. I've got Natasha Denona Livid, which is actually not even a matte, but we'll just see. No. Okay, Natasha Denona Magic. Oh, that's actually pretty close, you know. If it wasn't for my terrible left-handed swatching going on. That's pretty close. Okay, and then I have Natasha Denona Dream, which is far too purple. So I'm going to actually go for Magic, this one here. Then there's this shade, which is honestly one of the most unique shades ever as well. It's this like charcoal grey with purple glitters in, and I'm not even sure that the camera's going to pick it up. So let's start off with what I think looks like the closest, and this is Natasha Denona Rhodium, and this is like the closest. Oh god, that's not even close. It's the closest I was going to get. We've got Shroud Cosmetics Pillow Talk, which is just too purple. I then have Cliondah Cosmetics Abrasion, again too pink. Okay, and then I have Flame Blown by Cliondah Cosmetics as well. Honestly, like, I thought this one was going to be the closest Natasha Denona, but I'm actually thinking maybe we use the Shroud one, or between them, or we could just completely bin off this shade altogether and actually maybe we'll buy this one. This one is actually Layer by Natasha Denona. I'm thinking we can maybe like just go black on that one instead. So this is it Layer, did I say? Layla, sorry, Layla. See, that's kind of close actually. That's kind of close. What about this one? Sorry, I know we're going to go through the ranks here. This is Commitment by Natasha Denona as well, which is, no, that's not the right shade. I'm actually going to go for Layla there. And then if we want to pull for something different, maybe I'll just put that Shroud one there if we want something a bit different. These two there. Okay. So finally we have this shade here, which honestly I think just looks like a straight up black. It's not a very good black, mind you, but it is a black. So I've got here the Makeup Geek Corrupt. I will just swatch this one here, which is Natasha Denona Commitment again. I just swatched that a second ago. Can you even see my swatches? Damn it, I don't think you could, sorry. I'm actually going to keep these both in the mix, even though this is far purple. I want to keep like a purpley toned black, but yeah, okay. I think we have our final candidates for this palette. Sorry this has taken ages, I just really wanted to do this properly. I'm going to go put all these away back in their palettes, wash my hands, and we will finalize what we want to do here. Okay, hopefully you can see everything. I'm really like, this is my first time doing this sort of thing, so if you can't see stuff in the camera, I'm really sorry. I will work on it and I will be better. Right, I'm gonna put things in the palette that I've only got one version of things, like this one here. There's only one version of it, so I'm just gonna shove it in there. One version of this, one version of that, one version of this. I think honestly we're gonna have enough room for more than we think we're gonna have for. So I'm actually going to swatch this entire like palette, this one here, out first. Where we've got two options, I'm going to just swatch them side by side. Okay, I'm actually gonna go for this one. I think it adds more, so I'm gonna go for this one here and bin this one off. Honestly, I think I'm still not sure about these two. I'm actually going to keep, if I can put them both in at the end, I'm going to keep them both. So far though, including these two, we have the first palette. Right, I'm taking this one out of the equation. Again, one of those things where I kind of want to keep both of these if we have the space. I'm going to keep this one here. And then in terms of the mattes, I think it's best to keep this one here, which I think is this one. Yeah, and then if we have space, I'll include both of those mats to like pull something a bit different. That's 2 palettes done. Just this one now. I think I want to keep this one to actually add the pop of purple in there. I kind of want these 3 in here as well, but I'm not going to have enough space for everything. That's the problem. I just think these 2 both add something very different to the palette, and I really like that. So I kind of want to cram them all in. I think let's have like a little swatching moment of all these deep shades and these deep brown shades here. So like look here, we look at all these, this is ridiculous, we don't need all of this. So these 3 are probably the deepest, and then these are like grungy and brown. Okay, so I think we can get rid of this one perhaps, because it's very similar to this. But then maybe we can keep this because it pulls brown and purple, and get rid of this one and this one and keep the black perhaps, and then get rid of this bright green and keep those 3. Okay, do you know what, will this all fit in? I wonder if this will all fit in. Hang on, let's have a little go of this. Okay, I think I need to pick out of these 2 because there's just too much going on in this palette. I think I haven't got enough space for both of these, so let's just do one last swatch. I kind of want this one. Oh my god, it's so crumbly. I do kind of want this one, honestly I do, but I'm just wondering if this is more in keeping with the rest of the palette. I think this one is more in keeping. I'm going to have to bin this one off, I think, which is really sad because I actually love that one. And do I need both of these? Do I really need both of these? Yeah, they're different. Okay, they all fit. I just don't think it looks very nice right now. Like it all fits. It all fits. It's just like not the dream right now. I'm gonna try and I'm really gonna try and reposition them into these 3 colour waves. But maybe I can just speed this up. Maybe I'll take it out. I'm not sure. But I want to just put them in these 3 colour waves right here and try and actually get some semblance of what's going on. Okay, I think this is as good as we are gonna get. I don't completely hate this. I don't love it, but I don't completely hate it. I feel just as inspired as I do from these, and I think I've got like a good semblance of it. So here is like the top row of like this palette, and then this kind of fudgy row here is this palette, and then here kind of going off on one of it is this palette. Then I've got a couple that are just good all-rounders for like the whole palette. So I think the next steps now is to wash my hands, swatch all of these on this hand and swatch all of these on this hand, and see if I can get like a good colour story match. Yeah. Okay, are you ready? I kind of tried to clean this all up, so excuse me if it's like a bit smudged. I'm gonna have to get some Dettol on it later. So the 3 KIKO palettes, what we set this mission out for, these 3 right here. This is the swatches, or these are the swatches of this palette, okay? I'll try and get up close for you. So you can see that they're a bit dusty, lovely, like the ambition of the colour story between them. I'm just obsessed. I love it. It's sultry, it's everyday, it's got a bit of everything. My favourite colours, coppers, greens, purples. I love it, okay? But there's just something missing. We then create this palette here, right? And I'm thinking maybe I haven't done what I set out to do. And then I swatched it. Boom. I am really happy with this. Why am I so happy with this? I don't know. So we start off with like these bronzy tones, look, like that. So it's matched up. Then we've got like the greeny tones and then the purples. I just think this is just so, I'm just so happy with this. I have never done this before. I've never deconstructed palettes and put them together, and I don't know, what do you guys think? Have I done well, do you think? I'm really happy with it. Like, look at these. These are, yeah, like mattes, dusty, no pigmentation on some of them because they're really old. You know, metallics aren't really metallic, sheens aren't really there. And then we've got this, which has got saturation, different types of formula in this and everything. I don't know, like, I really hope this is picking up on camera. I'm gonna overlay some of the swatches so hopefully you can see them all. And you can just see the difference between the 2 palettes. I'm so obsessed. I'm so happy with this. And you know what? It feels good because I feel like I can get rid of those KIKO palettes. And you know, it's fine because I actually have something better in my collection. And because I've recorded this, if I ever want to use those palettes again, I can. I'm so happy about this. I know it's been a long one, but just how do you think I did? I think I did okay. I actually think I did pretty okay. Like, I think I've got the colour stories pretty, like, you know, pretty good. And, you know, where I couldn't find an exact dupe, I think I enhanced it, which is exactly what I wanted, like this shade, having 2 deep ones, and just, you know, getting rid of the same tonal thing. Like, look at this corner compared to this corner, you know, like just the tones are completely different, and I've got enhanced sparkles where I haven't had them. I'm really happy. If you would like to see me play around with this palette, maybe like 3 looks 1 palette, or just, I don't know, how many looks can I get out of this, let me know. So what do you think of my little palette? I'm so excited by this. I'm so inspired. Like, even just looking at these little 6 here, these 6 here, they just look so nice to me. I'm very inspired by this. I'm going to be using this just like all week during work and just playing with some colour, some lovely muted tones. Like, look at these 3 here. Bright pops, I love it, and these like deep grungy tones. If you'd like me to do a whole video of application in terms of me doing a couple of looks from this palette, or how many looks can I get from my homemade palette, I don't know what to call this, then do please say, because I'd really like to do that, but if you're not interested in it, then I won't. Let me know down in the comments, or thumb this video up, or do a bit of both, and let me know if you'd like to see me play around with my handmade, my DIY palette. I'm so excited about this colour story. Oh, love it. Thank you so much for watching. I really do hope you have enjoyed. Have you ever made your own palette out of singles you already have, or palettes you already have? Have you ever done this before? Because I've never done it, and I've been really wanting to do it. The likes of Lauren May Beauty and Hannah Louise Poston, they do it all the time. Oh, and Betty Jean Batty Bean. I think that's her name, Batty Bean. Oh god, they always do it all the time, and I'm so inspired by it, so I thought I'd try it out myself, and I'm really happy about it. So if you've ever done this before, let me know as well. Like, how popular is this? Let me know if this sort of video is something that you'd like to see more of. Like I said, thank you so much for watching, and thumbs this video up if you have enjoyed. Talk to me down below about just anything DIY palettes, this DIY palette, any DIY palettes, just talk to me down below about it. I really want to engage in that conversation with you. Take care, stay safe, subscribe if you haven't already, ring the bell because I upload 3 to 4 videos a week, every other day roughly. Yeah, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.